In compliance with the Open Public Meetings, I wish to state that on June the 8th, the notice of this meeting of the Upper Township Committee was posted on the official Township Bulletin Board, mailed to the Cape May County Gazette, the Atlantic City Press, the Ocean City Sentinel Ledger, the Herald Times, and followed the Township Clerk. Tonight's meeting is being video recorded up until the closed session portion of this meeting and will be available on UTTV channel 97 and on the Upper Township website. I hereby direct that this announcement be made a part of the minutes of this meeting. I would ask all to rise for the salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Here.
Mr. Coggins?
Here.
Mr. Corson?
Present.
Mr. Young?
Here.
Mayor Palumbo?
Here.
All members are present.
All right, would someone like to make a motion to approve the minutes from May 29th, the regular meeting, and then also the closed session A and B minutes?
Motion approved.
Second.
If we can vote on them separate, I think the A ones I was here for, the B ones I might not have been.
All right, so I'll amend my motion to say,
Curtis, you were here for the B ones.
I was here for the B. I was missing.
Not the A.
Not, yes.
okay, so let's do regular meeting minutes and closed session B minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Let's call the roll.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Abstain.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried, 4 in favor.
And would someone like to make a motion for closed session A minutes?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Let's call the roll.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Abstain.
Mr. Young?
Abstain.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried with 3 in favor.
Okay. Scott, what do you have for us today?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. Me. Two things. This evening, just an announcement. Received an email this morning from Cape County Office of Emergency Management to let us know that their new facility has they've moved from their location on Mechanic Street down to their new Lower Township facility. It's a new regional communications center and Office of Emergency Management. The phone number change used to be 609-463-6540. The new number is 609-600-5055. That's the main number. This information has been posted with the clerk's office and will be part of our emergency distribution list as far as phone numbers is concerned. The second thing I have for you is we received a letter from the Attorney General's office, Office of Public Safety and Division of State Police through Emergency Management, Region 2, that for the fiscal year 2018, we are eligible under our EMAA, which is Emergency Management Agency Assistance, to apply for a sub-award application, make application for, and the amount is $10,000. This is for the 2018 process. That will be part of resolution coming to your attention tonight, number 8 on the list. And all the paperwork has been completed with the assistance of the Barb Spiegel in her office and also Barb Young and the clerk's office. And that is what I have tonight.
Okay. Barbara.
Nothing at this time, sir. Thank you.
Daniel.
Congratulations, Mayor and Deputy Mayor, on your election.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Other than that, I have nothing until closed session. We have a number of items.
Okay. Paul.
Thank you. First, I wanted to just clarify and just did some research from some public comment that we had at the last meeting regarding ADA access on the beach. And I just wanted to, I pulled out the exact, some of the citations. Our beach is governed by the U.S. Access Board, which regulates the facilities designed, built, altered, or leased with certain federal funding, which obviously, since the Army Corps of Engineers constructed our beach, funded a majority of the costs on the beach, that design and functions all controlled by the Architectural Barriers Act, which the U.S. Access Board is governed by. And under those requirements, we're required to have one handicap beach access every half a mile. And then it does, and we have an access at at Williams Avenue where the lifeguard station is at, and then the other one is at Putnam Avenue. I think the resident had reported that she felt the Putnam address was really in Whale Beach. I think there was a mention that that's the two up in the main part of town, and they meet the half-mile standard spacing. We don't really have any in Whale Beach, and that is because of the extreme slopes and narrowness of the dunes. There's exceptions in Chapter 10, Section 1019, that provides for provisions for exceptions based on those criteria because it would take up too much dune area and habitat area. So that's why there's none required under the regulations. So I just to put it formally, those are the regulations under which our beach is governed, and our beach does meet the handicap access requirements under the federal regulations. The next thing I just wanted to do was about last month I attended a meeting with FEMA regarding, I know we just updated our flood insurance rate maps, the firm maps, back in October. However, they've already started the process because of the appeal of the state of New York. They're redoing, starting a restudy based on the criteria, based on that appeal. And so we're going through that public process again. And it's starting now, and they would anticipate that the study would last probably until late 2021 and probably be adopted back in 2022. So it's a long-term process, and there'll be some various public meetings along the way, but I just wanted to let the committee know that that process has formally started again. And then I'm going to be sending some information out to you. There's a HUD grant that's coming out for regional planning to help reduce flood risk through regional planning. And the requirements for that grant is you have to work with at least 2 other adjacent municipalities. I've had some preliminary discussions potentially with Ocean City and Sea Isle. They might be interested in working together, but I just wanted to let the committee know that there's that grant opportunity out. If you'd like me to continue to explore those options to go after a flood risk planning grant with those adjacent municipalities, I'd be happy to kind of continue that work.
Well, they kind of need us too, because it'd be all 3 of us. We all have two.
Yeah, you got to work together, since you have to have at least 3 adjacent municipalities. So, it seems a good fit between our 3 communities to work on that. Sometimes if you get too many municipalities, I think you lose sight of really effective regional planning, because then it gets too broad and too many voices and it gets clouded out. So if you guys are okay with that, I'll continue pursuing. The grant application just came out, and it's not due for a while, but I just wanted to start looking into it if the committee would be okay with that.
I think it'd be a good natural fit with those 2 municipalities. Absolutely.
Same county.
Yes. And I'll report back if I hear from them, but I think that they might be interested also. And that's all I had this evening.
Okay. Barbara?
I have nothing this evening.
Okay. Committeeman Coggins?
Nothing to report, but I'd like to congratulate Mayor Palumbo and Deputy Mayor Barr on their decisive win in the primary and wish you well in the general election.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Young?
I'd like to echo that sentiment also. It was a great win for you guys again, and looking forward to working together, and we know what direction we're going in, so that's a plus. Scott, flowers for our front lawn. We talked about it anywhere on what we're doing with that?
Yes, I have Roy working with a couple different vendors to obtain quotes for their services to bolster different plant ideas and things of that sort. We'll be back to provide some quotes.
As far as outsourcing?
Yes, as far as outsourcing.
Any idea time frame wise? We're going to be in the middle of a heat season and planting, it's not going to be.
Yeah, I'm hoping within the next week, I should have some of that quote information back from Roy. And once we go through the proper processes with Barb and her office, it should be quite fast after that.
Okay.
So just not that I have a green thumb so much, but it would make sense, I think, to put some perennials out there so that we don't have to continue to just, put annuals out there, just in the summertime. It might make sense to put some lilies and things that'll come back year after year and even, spread and that kind of thing.
And we're looking at the specific, when you say lilies, the day lily and those type of things, that we can put in a rather large area and that provide all different kinds of colors and things. And I think that's what Hobie's,
Yeah, that's what, focus a little more on having this be, the standout for our township. I mean, this is our marquee building. And, if we do outsource, then we can actually have seasonal flowers and everything, in that contract, where they're responsible to do mums during that time of the year. And it just seems we're not taking care of it up front as much as I'd like to, as far as the overall appearance when people pull in here. So, thank you. And Paul, anything on the architect for
It's
museum?
been out, we we advertised for the RFPs, and they're due on June 29th.
We had a meeting last week for the 4th of July, and I met with Scott and Barb and Larry, our supervisors from Public Works, as well as the Sheriff's Office for there. So I think we're pretty much all together. And the day is going to start a little bit later this year. We're going to start at 4 o'clock with our vendors, our pony rides, petting zoos, all those types of things. And the music, I have the band called the Spiders, a really good band. Will be playing starting at 5 to 7 o'clock. At 7 o'clock, we also have a barbershop choir coming in, and they'll sing from 7 to 7:30. And they will be doing the memorial service, the national anthem, and everything along with it. Some of their regular standby on the way to Cape May and different barbershop tunes that they do.
Sweet Adeline.
That's the only song I heard. Yeah, it's quite a few local guys. Matter of fact, Michael Don is one of the leaders of it. He's the one that requested. So they're going to come on from 7 to 7:30. We'll do the presentation of the flag, so forth. And then the band will come back on from 7:30 to 8:30, quarter to 9. And then hopefully we'll have the weather for the fireworks immediately afterwards. So that's on its way pretty well. In that meeting too, we also looked at dates and times for the fall car show. We won't be using the name Pumpkin Run this year. Harry has requested to take that back, but he's not going to do a car show. So we have said the same weekend, it'll be November the 4th. I'm not going to start at 8 in the morning, we're going to start it at 10 o'clock in the morning, and we'll go till about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So we're going to start looking for new names to call. So if anybody has any ideas, we'd love to hear it. We've heard, I've got about 15 to 20 from people already. Some of them are good names, some of them are too long to put on a shirt. So, and also Ricky Brochard, I talked to him the other night. He is ready to go and help us put this on again. So he's going to be a major plus for us. So that'll be on November the 4th. Rain date will be on the 5th at Amanda's.
Call it the Pumpkin Parade.
We need to put something core in there. I mean, I said maybe Pumpkin Classic.
Yeah.
So we'll find something. I'm asking, try to get people in the township involved too. Making the name. So. Also, I'd like to do a resolution. Our girls softball team, and I'm not sure what age group it was. Jen hit me up with it, but our girls won the league championship, beating Middle Township. I think it was 8 to 7. So I'd like to do a resolution so we can bring them in and honor that team. Other than that, we have, as far as I know, the pole barn for the outdoor batting cages. I know we're supposed to go up this week.
Looks good.
Yeah, it's all
Is it up? I haven't had time to get out there, so.
Yeah, it looks good.
And I want to thank baseball and record for all the money and hard work you're putting into Amanda's baseball facility. So
Tell you what, it really looks good, great at night.
Huh?
Looks great at night.
I know it does. I know. I've been out to a couple of night games, and it's going well. We just got to get the finishing touches, which we'll get. So other than that, that's all I have. And I apologize for last meeting. I was under the weather and fell asleep and forgot all about it. So Old age is catching.
We need to start sending him a reminder.
Sleeping good. Old age got me.
You're like 2 years older than me, come on.
I do construction.
Come on, I used to count pills and stuff.
3-story stairs got me, what happened? My knees gave out.
Deputy Mayor Barr.
Congratulations, Mayor, on
Congratulations
on
to you.
your primary bid, and look forward to running with you in the fall.
Good.
Just one thing, and Hope, I know this is part of your sandbox, and I know we talked about this before, but the retention basin at Amanda's Field, what are we allowed to do in there? I know it's probably under the state's purview, but I mean, it's really getting overgrown,
The one along
and
the intersection?
it's taking away from our complex now.
The one
Fence,
that's
you can't see the fence there anymore.
The one at the state highway put it at.
Oh, it's the state highway, okay,
Right
I'm sorry.
over the I mean, it's probably a project that come fall when everything's dead, we can see what we're working with, but
I mean, I'd go as far as,
beautiful
if
complex.
they clean it up, we'll maintain it. I mean, but
That's actually, it's not ours, it's actually the DOT drainage impoundment. They
Yes.
built that as part of the bridge project.
But don't they, I mean, the state of New Jersey gives us standards for our drainage impoundments that we have to meet and keep and maintain.
They
And they don't do the same thing?
they are supposed to be doing the same thing, but sometimes I do not think that they do.
same way they cut the edge of the roads.
I can work with Public Works, we'll reach out to the DOT to get them down there to do some maintenance.
Can you,
Yeah, you come down off the overpass, and you're coming down, and I mean, what reminded me about it is when we were talking about putting a sign out there for the 4th of July, and it's like you come down over the overpass, and it's like this big clump.
It blocks.
It's hiding the entire complex.
well, it's unsightly, and I just question out the double standards they hold us to, and they can't maintain their own stuff. Ed and I were actually together, and we looked at it, and it was horrible.
Yeah.
And if we could also, if we're writing a letter to the State Department, CC or Senator, because it might actually,
We actually have fairly good luck when we reach out to the local maintenance yard directly. They usually pay attention.
We just recently had a site issue at the end of Evergreen and Route 9, where signs were overgrown, and they came out there within a week, it was all cut back. So, and that was with a phone call, so we'll do the same thing.
Good. Other than that, that's all I have.
Committeeman Corson?
thank you, Mr. Mayor. Congratulations, gentlemen, for your recent victory.
Thank you.
At this time, I have nothing.
It's amazing.
I just have a few things. One, we mailed out, Barbara mailed out, letters to folks that will be affected by the Strathmere bulkhead study. We'll be meeting over at the Strathmere Firehouse on June 30th at 9 a.m. So letters went out to make the residents aware of what we are going to talk about, and especially those that homes are affected.
Is that a full committee meeting, or just a?
Anyone is welcome to go. I guess we'll need a count. If we have more than 2, then we need to
To notice it.
advertise it.
If you're going to discuss, you need to notice it.
But, I mean, I think input from everybody would certainly be welcome, so if you think you can make it, I would just have Barbara go ahead and make, the announcement, that's all.
Mayor, if I could, also, I did put the maps on the township website. They're under my department, under the maps. And I took some of the committee suggestions. I went through and colorized the sections of the bulkhead and kind of graded them based on
By height?
by their height, so that you can kind of see from a colorization, which ones are in need to be raised and which ones kind of meet the standards. So it's kind of, I did add that to the map for the public presentation.
And were you able to reach out to Dr. Farrell?
I've reached out to him. I did not hear
Okay.
Dr. Farrell. Tom Weiss was available. We want to have him there.
I mean, I'm not so sure that Tom needs to be there from the insurance standpoint at this point, but I think there may be questions as to why we would do 7 versus 8 or whatever, and I would think that's something that Dr. Farrell would be able to.
It's Dr. Farrell.
Yeah.
So I've reached out to him, I mean, it's kind of their, total they're off season, but, a lot of the students are out of class now, so I don't know what his summer schedule is, so, but I'll continue to try to reach out to him, make sure he can get there.
All right, that's good. Also, at the last meeting, you recall, we made a motion to approve the hires for the lifeguards contingent upon qualifying. And there are 8 individuals. We had a number of people that have moved on, based for, graduating college and taking on other positions and stuff. So we've already proved that these folks can move forward, but I do want to make the announcement.
Mayor, we have not.
We
At
have
the
not.
last, no,
It
at
was
the
just that
last
we
meeting,
would allow them-
there were returning guards. These are new guards that we're hiring.
But I thought we had a discussion because they want to start rookie school this coming Saturday. And so if I make a motion to hire these folks.
They can go ahead and begin on the 16th.
That's the
planned.
important thing. All right, so it's Kevin Wittesick, I guess it's his sister Gianna Wittesick, Casey McCleese, Sam Gilroy, John Dadalow, Ian Byerly, Blaze Jaspon, and Eve Ciarella. So they're the 8 guards. 3 are Upper Township residents. The other ones are locally surrounding the areas. There was a total of 5 Upper Township residents that tried out. As in the past, we certainly try and make arrangements to hire upper residents, provided they qualify and make the swim and everything else that is important for the South Jersey Lifeguards Association that they have for qualifiers. So
Is that a motion?
that's a motion.
Second.
Let's call the roll.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
And Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
I just want to make one quick statement. I'm not going to spend much time on it. I was a little offended by a publication or mailing that went out prior to the primary about 20 things that I have been quote-unquote accused of doing, but I just want to publicly say that they're not true and, just leave it at that. I don't want to go tit for tat. I don't want to go any further than that, but sometimes these elections get a little crazy when people just decide they can put whatever they want and mail it out. So I'll just leave it at that. I'm happy to have won, and I'm glad that my running mate won, and we'll move forward. So with that, let's move on with the resolutions.
Item number 1, authorizing a professional services agreement with Tryon Group, a Marsh McLennan agency, for health reimbursement account administrative services.
Motion to authorize.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 2, tax refund for Block 12, Lot 29, and Block 12, Lot 30.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. 3, tax refund on exempt property, Block 574, Lot 17.02.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. 4, appointing additional 2018 season beach patrol personnel.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. 5, renewal of alcoholic beverage licenses for the license year 2018.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Before we move on,
Yes.
well, we're on 5 here. I was under the impression that we might be eligible for another liquor license based on our population.
Not that I know of.
Not that I'm aware of. I would have to-
I was under that impression.
There are other exceptions and there's some things for
Yeah, I mean,
development.
we had
that-
discussed
Types
yeah.
of-
if someone were to come in and develop 100
yes.
or greater, then they're eligible for a liquor license.
But somebody I heard was telling me, based on our population, we might be eligible.
I mean, honestly, I think we have more than
That law hasn't
we can
changed.
for. The current calculation is just it has not worked well for us. I mean, you have smaller Barrier Island that have, probably 4 or 5 more liquor licenses than we have, but they were already in existence, they were grandfathered.
And there have been proposals, I don't know where they are in the legislature, to allow restaurants and some other things, and especially in downtowns and redevelopment areas, to have liquor licenses regardless of what your population is. So some things are changing, but right now, to my knowledge, they haven't changed yet.
Let me ask you, would it be worth us researching to see if there's a possibility?
Well, we can look into it. I did about a year ago, look into it when we were
Because
looking
we
at
do
the
have,
master plan.
unlike, our population, when you look at it, and you look like a town of Seattle and some other towns, their population disappears during the wintertime.
But they don't get credit for the summer population. They just have historically that number of licenses.
They have had the licenses in
Yes,
place for
that's
so
correct.
long.
But I was wondering if there's a possibility with us, because the increase that we get in our campgrounds and everywhere else, that we could possibly.
To my knowledge, I can look at it again, but the last time I looked at it, it's year-round population.
Yeah, if we can, just to,
Yeah.
because there's been a lot of
But there are,
inquiries out there.
as I said, there are a number of proposals in the legislature now to broaden the ability to get, especially for restaurants, liquor license. And frankly, we have put encouraging language in our master plan for hotels and that type of thing for the downtown center, so that restaurants, if they happen to open up in the downtown center, if it gets developed, they would be able to have a liquor license.
Yes.
So,
But if we can look into it.
yeah, I suspect not, but I'll find out.
Okay.
Thank you.
Item number 6, authorizing the award of a contract with Wireless Electronics for electronic equipment.
With resolution.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 7, declaration of emergency pursuant to Township Ordinance Section 7-3.2 in order to provide temporary no parking restrictions during the Upper Township 4th of July celebration event on July 4th, 2018, with a rain date of July 5th, 2018.
Motion approved?
Second.
Yes.
Mr. Barr? Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 8, authorizing Township Buffer to apply for fiscal year 2018 Emergency Management Performance Grant through the State of New Jersey Division of State Police Office of Emergency Management Agency Assistance Program.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 9, Upper Township Soccer request use of Amanda's Field for a shore shootout event on June 29th, 30th, and July 1st of 2018.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 10, application for a temporary liquor license permit. In this application, I'd like to request a motion to authorize me to sign this application if necessary. This is for one of our licensees that may not be able to renew his license application prior to June 30th because he is in need of his tax clearance. At this time, he does not have his tax clearance, so he was not included on the resolution that you adopted previously. If he does not get that, then he will need to apply for his ad interim permit. So I would need to be authorized to sign that.
We've done this in the past.
Yes.
It's basically, their application is complete other than the tax clearance from the Division of Taxation.
Motion to
And it
approve.
is approved by the ABC. It's one of their temporary
It's one of
permits.
their temporary permits
I'll
they
second
allow.
that.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
And Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 11, Stockton University Coastal Research Center Municipal Shoreline Report for the first quarter of 2018.
Motion approved?
Second.
Accept.
It's accepted.
Accept it. Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Anything outstanding we need to look at?
I just would note that during the cycle report, they did notice a kind of an increased loss in, if you remember, I think it was not even a month ago that we discussed the yearly summary report from 2017. But when you start looking at the first quarter in 2018, that there was, and especially because of those, we had like 3-4 March storms that really did take, you can see it did take a toll on our beach, and we did lose some of the, more up in the north end of the island, the losses there.
Yeah, we had one little northeaster after the other, nothing major, just steady little ones.
Yes, so that did take a toll on our beach. I think there's a loss of about 140,000 cubic yards total off the beach, which, that's a very small percentage of the overall beach of what the Army Corps put down, but still it's a minor loss to the beach during that time period.
Is it laying offshore in a shelf somewhere, do you think, or?
No, actually it gravitated onshore.
Yeah, more moved onshore, but we just still generally lost some, so it's, we'll have to hope that during the summer season that, the shoals that come across the inlet and will settle up on their beach.
What, as I understand, Paul, you can correct me, but the underlying sand that was right offshore, my understanding is part of it went away and the other part went onshore, which means that protective barrier offshore for some period of distance is not there anymore, but onshore we have a little bit more sand.
Okay, item number 12, under unfinished business. Bertosky requests to purchase township-owned property, block 735, lot 21.02.
This is the one that is on Harbor Road, where you had previously addressed it and approved it if the owner would consent to consolidating lots 2101 and 2103 with the subject property and deed restricted as an ancillary use to the home across the street. So it couldn't be a new single-family home. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Paul, the owner agreed to those conditions and would like to move forward.
That's correct.
All right. So we would need a resolution for the next meeting if you want to go forward with what you previously approved.
Sounds good to me.
I was in favor of it last time.
You're more than in favor of it.
Yes.
Okay. So we put a resolution on the next meeting?
Yeah.
With those terms, okay.
Would someone like to make a motion to pay the bills?
I hereby move that all claims submitted for payment at this meeting be approved and then incorporated into the full minutes of the meeting.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
There are a number of reports from the municipal departments: Animal Control, Clerk's Office, Construction Code, Division of EMS, Finance Office, Municipal Court, MUA Report, and Tax Collector. All these reports will be available upon request tomorrow at the Clerk's Office. I'll make a motion to accept these reports.
Second.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
At this time, we've reached the public comment portion of the meeting. A limited amount of guests this evening, but if anyone would like to address the Township Committee, now's the time to do so. Please come up to the podium, state your name and your reason for addressing the Township Committee.
My name is Blanche Adams, and I'm at 330 Woodbine Road in Steelmantown, and I'm representing myself tonight. And my comment is just about the plantings that you were talking about up front. As you were saying that, I was just thinking that perhaps a very positive statement would be if you used native planting. And that would make like a sustainability statement, and it could be nice, and it certainly might, don't have a green thumb either, but But Ralph is here from the green team, and maybe him and his team that did a great job at the library could get involved. But I know native plants don't, after the first year, they don't require watering, and they're native, so they do well. And I'm kind of experimenting with that in my own backyard. So that's just a thought.
Actually, I would like to,
2 cents.
I would personally like to see milkweed because that encourages the monarch butterflies.
Yes, and the library, because I stopped there tonight, the library milkweed is just blooming now, and it's very cool looking, and it might be, I mean, just for a public-facing statement, you know, to state that sustainability.
And Blanche, if I may, we are looking toward that. Paul has provided me with a list of trees and plants and all different types of vegetation that we're just trying to.
But we still need to put some color in it, you know, so
Yeah.
it's a little difficult to stay with the natural fauna when, you know, we're looking for some flowering plants as well, just to kind of, you know, brighten it up a little bit. So, you know, I mean, there's some native plants that obviously flower. There are a lot of wild plants that flower, but, you know, maybe if we can combine it, at least, you know, we'll get some effect from it.
Yeah, have like just a little butterfly or something. And eventually you could be a certified wild garden thing. What is that, Ralph?
Rain garden.
Certified, yeah, that. So just a thought. Thank you.
Thanks.
Anyone else? I realize this is a short meeting, but sometimes these things happen. I will close the public portion, section of the meeting, and turn it over to Mr. Coggins for a motion to go into executive session.
I hereby move that a resolution be incorporated into the minutes authorizing the Township Committee to enter into an executive session for the following matters pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act. The matters are personnel, contract negotiation for website services, for Cape May County Shared Services Agreement for Special Event Services, and for collective bargaining. Also litigation for affordable housing. I also include in my motion the estimated time and the circumstances under which the discussion in closed session can be disclosed to the public as follows. It is anticipated that the matters discussed in closed session may be disclosed to the public upon the determination of the Township Committee that the public interest will no longer be served by such confidentiality. With respect to employment and personnel matters, such discussions will be made public if and when formal action is taken or when the individuals involved consent that it can be made public. With respect to contract negotiations, such matters will be made public when negotiations have ceased and there is no longer a reason for confidentiality. With respect to litigation matters, such discussions will be made public when litigation is complete and the applicable appeal period has expired.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Well, I wish you all a safe travel home. Thank you for coming this evening. You might actually get home before it gets dark tonight.